and it's kind of a weird thing, and I'm not being political, I'm just predicting, and I'm suggesting, I think you need to have the Democratic House and Senate, because I think the Democrats are more likely to be supportive of it.
Yeah.
But interestingly, and I'm not a Trump guy at all, but interestingly, I think Trump would be the only Republican that would go for it because he would want the tax revenue.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And
he want a piece of it too.
You know, you have to have a lawyer. You have to. That's the cannabis industry reality.
Cannabis way.
Like it or not.
I have used an attorney more in New Jersey than both Colorado and Michigan combined.
But all the states, you have to have that regulatory expert. You have to have that lawyer. I would have in-house counsel if I was developing a brand across the United States immediately. I mean, that's the first thing you need.
Well, except that, and I'll disagree with you a little bit, every state is so different that you want to make sure that you have, if that counsel, you got to have local counsel.
Dimitri down here back with MJBizCon 23 with my buddy
Max Uhas from Dope SEO.
And we are continuing our roll and dive through the state of the states and getting some market overviews and learning a lot and sharing a lot about what's going on. By the way, this is actually an excellent MJBizCon. This is my best MJBizCon ever because I am learning.
Yeah.
And I am learning and learning. I know a lot of shit, but I am learning. We had Colorado on here. We had Alabama on here. We had Oregon on here.
Alabama.
Alabama. I know more about Alabama than you do. Because I host MITA Unshackled, and now you do too, because you watch me on Unshackled. But now I got the coolest guy in the world, an old friend of mine, Lou from New Jersey. How you doing?
Good to see you. I'm Lou Magazoo with the Wiener Law Group. I'm the head of the department. We have offices. We have 5 offices in New Jersey: Parsippany, Red Bank, Bridgewater, Hoboken, Bayonne, Vineland, Atlantic City, and New York City.
Nice.
And it's been a great situation. Great to see you. By the way, I like the higher elevation.
You like it?
Yeah, very nice.
Isn't it nice?
What do you think of the whole setup?
I think, I feel like this, I think you've arrived, man. I mean, you're like, I don't know if I can still be with you anymore. I mean, you're like a rock star now,
It's like the Today Show type setup here. But no, Lou's one of my favorite individuals. What we do at MITA a lot is help people, professional development, business development, all kinds of stuff. And Lou and I met at MJBizCon 2019. 2019. And
It's history.
we were with associations and up comes Lou, and Lou's at there. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna hang out with you. And
It's been a blast.
We started hanging out, and now he's all grown up, and now he's the top cannabis attorney in New Jersey.
And you're like the top cannabis broadcaster in the universe. So it's all good.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure what I am. Okay, and we have Jake, a new friend. We haven't met before, but Jake.
We have not met.
There's a little bit of feedback.
My name is Jake Berry. I am the CEO of Loud Labs. We own a processing facility in Colorado, Michigan, and New Jersey.
Nice.
Our facility is in Woodbury Heights, New Jersey, so about 15 minutes from the Philadelphia airport. We launched in Colorado in 2015 and have slowly expanded, and we are actually the first non-major MSO manufacturer in the state of New Jersey.
Right, this is going to be a good one.
That's amazing. Yeah, congratulations. As a Jersey native, props.
We can do a little compare and contrast too, because you have the experience of different market structures.
Yeah. This is honestly, New Jersey is the most exciting market that I've been in so far, for a variety of reasons. So I'm really excited to talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about New Jersey market structure. Where are you guys at? Your adult use, start from when it went medicinal.
Well, my first client in 2018 on the medical side was Columbia Care, and then they allowed in 21 or 22, they allowed the existing MSOs who were originally medical to then do recreational. Then they opened up the market for other folks, such as Jeff, to come into the Jersey market on the recreational space, and tremendous opportunities. New Jersey, let me give you the good news and the bad news. The good news is the governor is extraordinarily committed to the success.
Right.
The bad news is that over 1,500 or 1,600 licenses have been given out, and probably less than 70 shops have opened up. And that's whether it's distribution, cultivation, retail. They just are opening up the lanes for distribution and delivery, and I should know the third. But
so all kinds of licensing classes.
They just start, and that's I think a challenge because they would not allow you to vertically integrate unless you were an MSO, it put those other folks, I think, at a disadvantage. Plus, of course, everybody's having the same capital issues. But the big picture is that Pennsylvania is still way behind. New York is still, I think, in tremendous trauma, okay? And I think New Jersey is a good place to land, as is, I think, Connecticut and Massachusetts, by the way. But I think Jersey is particularly a good place to land.
Now, before medical transitioned into adult use, were the medical licenses all grandfathered in, you said?
And yes, and now you can get your, if you have a doctor's, obviously, a script, you could do a medical still, or you could do adult use in those originals.
So you're familiar with other market structures, and I would want to definitely do some comparing and contrasting on this one, because you have the experience in Michigan, Colorado, and New Jersey. How do you see the New Jersey market structure? What are the changes? What are the benefits, the pros, the cons, the opportunities?
I'd be very interested in Jake's comments because he knows other markets. What I can tell you is I have seen the maturing of the market. I've seen a Cannabis Regulatory Commission who wants to get you to success. The investigators want to get to yes versus no, which I think is really, really important.
That's good.
The single biggest impediment in New Jersey, and I don't know if this was Jake's experience or not, is that there is tremendous feedback, but but we want feedback though. It gives us input. So, but the thing in New Jersey has been that you have to get that local approval first.
Yeah. Whether
it's the mayor and mayor city council, has to be zoned correctly. I don't know what your experience was, but there's woefully too few zones. Okay.
That are open to it.
But here's what's happening. Only a third of the communities opted in initially. 2/3 opted out. As they're seeing that it is not the end of the world, okay?
It's not the zombie apocalypse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not the zombie apocalypse. That's in Washington. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
But
Jeez.
Washington, D.C.?
D.C., not state. Washington, D.C.
Oh, boy.
In our nation's capital.
Some of us refer to it as a swamp.
Exactly. So, but I think that, and you know, I do want to turn it over to Jake because he's actually done it. But my sense is that we're learning every day. There's some places, I'm in a war right now in Atlantic City with the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority because there's a planner there who's a mayor of another town that opted out of cannabis and is now saying, oh, it's a cash-only business, which it's not. It's a security problem, which it's not. And I'm literally having to spend tens of thousands of dollars of clients' money to fight for what they're entitled to do. Why? And then I'll yield the floor. Why? Because they said, oh, you're over 10,000. You need a loading dock for a retail of 4,800 square feet, even though the statute says you only need it if you have over 10,000. They clearly shouldn't be forcing this upon my client, but they are. Why? Because there's somebody who has a bias against cannabis.
Right.
And guess what we're doing? We're going to rip that bias out and let the whole public see it and call it for what it is. And I'm having fun.
Beautiful.
And Jake, hold your thought. I want you to comment, but just real quick, on closing on, it's very important on that aspect as we do this state-by-state analysis. New Jersey, local is everything.
Two partners, local and then the CRC. But if you get through the local, CRC is a layup.
Yeah,
That's very important to note. In Arizona, if you get your state license, the local's a layup. Unless you're social equity, then you have to go through a bunch of hoops that were created by existing industry members who didn't like the social equity competition. We'll leave that alone for some other day. Tell us, sorry, Jake, go ahead.
Lou's absolutely right. The local level is what you've really got to get through. So, finding a municipality that is super pro cannabis. So, in my situation, I started working on this project about 2 years ago with, the thought of, hey, I'm trying to get in here. So, finding a property that would work potentially, and also finding it in a location, and a municipality that would be, kind to this type of business. So the mayor of the town that I'm actually located in, Woodbury Heights, super pro cannabis guy, super pro business guy. They actually didn't even have cannabis legal in their municipality, but I was able to meet with him, meet with the board, talk to him about the products, talk to him about what I wanted to do there. And I actually worked with them to write the law of what their town was going to be.
That's so beautiful. So, but in this sense, so it's essentially they're grateful for you to come in and be in their community. It's not. It's almost the exact opposite of some areas where it's like, oh, you got to fight your way in. It's like if you get in with the right municipality, they're so open to everything.
That's
as long
exactly
as
right.
As long as it's within compliance, obviously.
For sure, and they want the money, because at the end of the day,
they know the money's going to come.
The cities can get 3% at most from every single cannabis business that's in their municipality, right? Top line. So it's super
3%
advantageous.
retail, cultivation, processing, anything?
Sorry?
3%?
3%.
Doesn't matter what kind?
3%.
3%. It's a lot of money. And so, especially after the pandemic, a lot of these municipalities are, lacking funds, lacking money. So they're looking at us as the golden goose. And, the other issue, I don't know if you know this about New Jersey, I certainly didn't know before I got out there. It is the most densely packed state in the country.
Yep.
So, you go... Every place you go to looks like it's like Leave It to Beaver, and it's packed. There's no property available anywhere, so it's very, very difficult. And that's one of the biggest hurdles to get people into the market in New Jersey is that there's no property, and then half the property is environmentally. Is an environmental catastrophe.
It needs to be fixed up.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Well,
it's
that's
been
more.
abandoned.
It's more true up north than down south.
That's
true.
But
And I'm a North Jersey guy.
I
so.
see that's an opportunity, and Jake, I didn't know. I've not know him, but he's done everything right. You go talk to the mayor.
You're his attorney? You're not?
No.
Oh, you guys have
sadly,
all right.
sadly,
We just
we've
met
brought
here.
you together.
Exactly.
This is great. We've brought New Jersey with New Jersey.
and I know you're going to want to vig. I understand. But anyway, that's the Jersey way.
I don't step foot in New Jersey without calling Lou first.
That's good because it's the most litigious state in the country.
But Jake
So-
obviously did it right, and here's what he did. He did common sense. He went with the mayor. He's not pushing the rock up the hill. He met with the board. He talked about the economic opportunities. And there's a second piece of that puzzle, and that's job creation opportunities.
Right.
Yep.
And I think
Yes,
if you say
for the
to
local
these
community.
right, okay. And by the way, well-paid jobs, good
Well-paid
jobs,
jobs.
Yep.
okay,
Right.
great opportunities.
Yep.
New Jersey also requires, as you know, which call a labor peace agreement. So
Yes.
you
Yes.
have to have the UFCW, which I love those guys. So I don't say have to, but you have to. The UFCW is part of that, which then means you're going to have well-paying jobs. You're going to have health care. You're going to have good training. But it's it's super opportunity. I'm just curious, how many square feet is your processing?
It's about 10,000 square feet.
That's a big number.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
huge
pretty
space
large
in Jersey.
facility.
Yeah.
Big number.
Yeah, and we're in mid-Jersey, so a lot of the really south area of Jersey is floodplain. So kind of like mid-Jersey is a good spot to be in. And the closer you get to New York, the more expensive the property is too. So, that's where you're going to see a lot of the dispensaries. The best locations are going to be in the northern area across from New York because that's where, the biggest population is.
Or south across from
See,
Philly.
I disagree
Yeah.
a little bit. I disagree
There's
slightly.
also Poconos area. I mean, I think anywhere across the board.
Well,
The tourism, too, on the coast.
you and I both know what Wawas are. These guys don't
Yeah.
know what Wawas are.
I know
okay?
Wawas,
Okay.
yeah.
He does. He's from
So
there.
the key about the Wawas, okay, is a
it's a
Wawa.
gas station. It's essentially
It's-
7-Eleven.
No, it's way better than
all right,
7-Eleven.
It's a Jersey 7. But if you needed to
The
explain to
East,
somebody
people
else,
on the East Coast,
It's
it's
an
like
East
the best
Coast-
thing ever. Okay,
Yeah.
It's the greatest
the greatest gas
I have
station you've
breakfast,
ever been
lunch,
to.
and not quite dinner at these
Right.
places
Yeah.
as I'm getting my gas.
Yeah.
But it's the point I wanted to make is they have strategically decided where to be located
Yes.
from a retail point of view. I think when you go into Jersey, you have to be of really multiple minds. You have to think, okay, I'm going to put my processing and my cultivation in an industrial park because
Yep.
I'm not going to have that much resistance.
Yep.
I'm going to put my retail as close to the commercial section as I can be. Now, there's a bunch of issues. There's traffic issues. You have to also make sure
Traffic
that,
plans, you gotta produce.
traffic plan.
I mean, these guys ask you things
Parking,
that I've never had to do in other
security
states.
plans.
Yeah,
But
But here's the beauty. Most of that you had to do for your CRC application anyway.
Yeah.
But there's the other I think thing that you need to think about with Jersey is really 3 different states. It's maybe 4 different states. It's like northeast near New York.
Yep.
It's the center. It's northwest near Pennsylvania,
Yep.
and it's
And
the
then
shore
there's
areas.
the shore.
Okay?
Yep.
And they're really 4 different mindsets, and you have to understand that going in. Part of the reason I joined the firm with 6 offices is because I was known in my backyard, but now I've got horsepower throughout the whole state. And there's environmental issues. You better have environmental lawyers.
Environmental
you better have,
attorney.
You better
Need to have one.
Land use lawyers.
Land use lawyer.
You need to have all. And frankly, I hate to say it, you need to have a lawyer who's kind of well known in the community, so that mayor or that council person says, if he's bringing them, he's got to be a good guy.
Right.
Now, it doesn't lock up the deal,
And
but it gets you in the room.
But
They love working with New Jersey. It's a friend
people.
of my friend,
Gives you credibility. Now, remember, the Jersey rules require 51% ownership of a Jersey resident.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another piece of the puzzle, too. There's a preference for WMBE. There's a preference for disabled vets. I mean, there's a lot of social equity and social public policy that's been brought together, which is really good. But unlike New York, it's not like a necessity. Mm-hmm. It gives you extra points in your application.
Extra points.
Yeah, it gives you extra points.
All this conversation always reminds me that if the rest of the industries in America were like the cannabis industry, there would be a revolution.
It wouldn't.
I thought you were going to say it would be a wonderful world.
No, there would be a revolution.
I mean, it's
people be like, what happened to
hyper-overregulated.
freedom?
I mean,
What happened to choice?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because what I was
Yeah.
thinking, I think it's great from a public policy point of view that says we want to help WMBE businesses, we want to help disabled vets. I like that.
because he gets a lot of work out of it.
No,
you know?
but
No, but if you were trying to just open up a local pizzeria, you know what I mean, and you had to go through
It's
the
impossible.
strings.
But remember, the local pizzeria owner didn't have a prior conviction of something that's now legal. So
Right.
I like there's the ability to say, we're trying to help you. Now, the problem is, most of those folks can't get financing.
Right.
Most of those
That's the
folks
biggest issue
don't have experience.
in New Jersey right now.
All right. And what I've been trying to do, maybe I should copyright this. I'm calling myself like the cannabis yenta. I'm introducing
Oi.
the local licensees with folks like Jake or others who
Okay.
have the experience, have the money,
Okay.
and you bring them together because. Frankly, you need that Jersey connection under the Jersey application.
Yeah.
And the Jersey folks need guys like him. And
Right.
the problem is they don't know it. I had a
Right.
wonderful father and son come to me that wanted me to represent them. And beautiful business people, had real estate, fixed cars, really nice people, but didn't know anything about the industry. And I wouldn't represent them. And the guy called his regular lawyer and said, this guy won't represent me.
Yeah.
And
why not? What's wrong?
And I told
what's the matter?
him, you give me your money, you're
Right.
not going to, I've been doing this long enough, you're not going to get the license unless you bring in a partner. They wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't take their money. And the guy happened to be Puerto Rican. He said, are you prejudiced? I said, I love everybody's money. I'm not prejudiced. I said, but, I got to look at myself
I've
in
been
the
doing this
mirror,
long enough to know.
and I
Like,
can't
yeah.
take your money
Right.
knowing that you got virtually no shot. And I said,
Right.
now, if you bring a partner,
Right.
I think you got a great shot.
Right.
Okay?
Hold on a second. Larissa, could you buy www.cannabisyenta.com?
Always thinking the angles. This is why you are who you are.
I'm just kidding, Lou. Come on. And if it is for sale, and if it does pop up under my name, you can have it.
Thank you, bud.
I'm just kidding. No, but of course I do not. And you have to have a lawyer. You have to. That's the cannabis industry reality.
Cannabis way.
Like it or not.
I have used an attorney more in New Jersey than both Colorado and Michigan combined.
But all the states, you have to have
You
that
definitely
regulatory
do.
expert. You have to have that lawyer. I would have in-house counsel if I was developing a brand across the United States immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the first thing you need.
Well, except that, and I'll disagree with you a little bit. Every state is so different that you want to make sure that you have, if that council, you got to have local council.
statewide.
In each one.
Yeah, because there's so, for example, I'm licensed. I was licensed in Pennsylvania for a period of time, and I gave it up, but I'm right next door. I wouldn't go into Pennsylvania right now because it's different. You need to know where you go.
You got to specialize in the market.
you
They're
wouldn't
so different.
personally as a lawyer or as a cannabis enterprise?
As an attorney.
As an attorney, yeah.
I would not. I'd stay in my lane. Now, we're going to learn about New York. I think New York is a good longer-term play. I think New Jersey is an immediate play.
Yeah.
But, we've got attorneys who are licensed in New York, and we're going to kind of work on that.
And we had David and Jean and John here from New York, and my God, what a mess they've created.
What a mess.
out there.
I wouldn't touch New York with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, the litigation and
And it's
all
normal. It's just become normal.
there's a second piece of that.
It's California 2.0.
Right.
That's what New York is,
Yeah.
and that's what it's always going to be.
Right.
Fortunately.
There's another piece of it that makes it, I think, even more challenging because if you go walk through Manhattan, all the bodegas, block by block, they look legitimate. Nobody
Yeah.
would know any, and
Yeah.
they're nice-looking places. And they aren't. What are they? They're not regulated. They don't have to pay taxes, and they're crushing. I think in the crib, they're crushing these other businesses that are trying to flourish.
These other businesses are never going to grow.
I can tell you though, just growing up in Jersey, there was a period of time where you could go to the local bodega and buy a blunt and a 20 sack out of the like he was. Oh, you want to?
That time still exists.
Yeah, I know, but it's like it
certain
hasn't,
places.
Yeah, but it hasn't gone anywhere. It's like that's part of the culture of that area.
Well, but I think the problem is in New York
legally
with the density, you can have them on every block.
Right.
Whereas in Jersey, except for North Jersey, down south you got to have a car.
Yeah,
And it's more likely somebody's going to figure out if you're illegal.
I also think it's just it's a political thing as well. You know, the Jersey is typically a little bit more conservative than I would say New York is.
Yes. Or California.
Yeah, and some of that stuff is just not tolerated there. You know, they want to work with legitimate people, and they care about the tax revenues, and you know that's what it's about. And that's why you're going to have legal enterprises succeed in Jersey, where legal entities cannot succeed in New York.
A little bit of inside baseball in Jersey. The governor, this was one of his platform pieces, but by coincidence, the guy who just became Senate president a year ago was the prime sponsor of the cannabis legislation from day one. Okay.
Booker?
No. This is
Sorry, my bad.
Scuteri is his name, Senate president of the state senate, not U.S.
Yes.
But
and Booker's not Senate president.
But he embraced this as a concept 10 years ago.
I think I just want to say Booker because I know you guys are buddies.
We are buddies, and I'm still working on him on safer banking. In fact, I was supposed to meet with him on Friday in Newark, and instead I'm here. So
how close are we to safer banking?
I have no clue.
Right. That's the safe answer for that.
That's an honest attorney.
That is a safe answer to that.
There you go.
Now, that said, I literally was with Booker a year ago, and just listen to this lineup who was there. And it was Senator Booker, Schumer, big shot.
Yeah.
It was Warner from Virginia. It was Schatz from Ohio. I'm sorry, Hawaii. It was the guy from Ohio whose name escapes me, an Ohio senator. There was the other New York senator. There was the guy from Montana. There's about 9 or 10 of these guys, and they announced at this event that the next day, Schumer announced it was a private meeting that safe banking was going to pass.
Right.
And guess what happened? McConnell would not put it on the bill.
Right.
Okay.
Well, look where he's at now.
So my view is that it's going to happen, but the politics of the country are going to have to change.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a weird thing, and I'm not being political. I'm just predicting, and I'm suggesting. I think you need to have the Democratic House and Senate, because I think the Democrats are more likely to be supportive of it.
Yeah.
But interestingly, and I'm not a Trump guy at all, but interestingly, I think Trump would be the only Republican that would go for it because he would want the tax revenue.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And
he want a piece of it too.
Well, that's another. I didn't go there. I thought it, but I didn't go there.
I'll say it.
But I don't know. And I don't know where. I have no clue where Biden is on this issue. But here's the thing. There's another way that this could be done. All right. In the Constitution, there's something called the state compacts. Okay. A majority of states could. And we're almost there. I don't know how many are legal now. You guys
36.
Well, that's the majority.
More.
Yeah.
Okay.
More, 37?
A majority of states could enter into interstate compacts.
Yes.
That would allow cannabis to move from state to state. Okay, and I think that would withstand federal scrutiny. Now, it's been a long time since I talked about constitutional law in any meaningful way, but I think that there's that opportunity. That's the end around. That's the way you force the feds.
Right.
Because then the feds are seeing it happen and not getting a piece of the action.
Well, what's happened with the tri-state area? You know, I know they had an agreement, but what about their compacts?
Tri-state compacts
Well,
going on?
but here's the problem with the tri-state area, I think. New York's, got a lot of issues. We talked about Pennsylvania's got a great governor by the name of Shapiro, who I've known for years. But Pennsylvania has Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, and James Carville said, and it has Kentucky in between. They call it Pennsyltucky or whatever.
Yeah.
But the point is, some very conservative folks in the middle who don't want it.
Right.
Okay. So that, I think Pennsylvania's going to stay behind. But I think someday, in fact, I'll make a prediction. In the next 5 years, there will be a compact between the states that allow cannabis to have. Now, the question is, if you're a state that's doing better than others, do you want to allow that? Okay. Or do you want to eat all the revenue yourself?
This is where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
But it would be smart. It would be smart.
You think every single municipality in New Jersey that's getting that 3% tax wants to allow outsiders in? I don't know.
Yeah.
The other thing about the third of the cities in Jersey that have opted in, only a fraction of those have done retail. Some more have said we want processing, we want cultivation. I think that's going to change. I think as they start seeing it isn't the zombie hell, and their guys are making money.
It already happened with my municipality. I was the first one to legalize it, and they were like, hey, you really need to just come in with just processing for now. We're cool, we're comfortable doing this. And as soon as I got on board, then everybody was like, okay, this might not be so bad.
Yeah.
We met this guy, he came and talked to us. Let's allow dispensaries. The
They're
town
friendly.
next door is
They're
doing
nice.
it.
That's a
Let's
smart
do
route.
it. Let's do it.
Go to, that's what I would do if I was going to New Jersey. I would put together a fund. I would pick all the places that don't have retail, and I would go open up a processing center or open up a cultivation center with the point of, and then once you
set the foundation for it all.
Once you open that up, you develop your friendships, you pay off the right politicians.
Don't say that.
That's
a horrible thing to say. It's not. It's by and large, it's not true.
Yeah, well, I meet Unshackled. We say politicians are bought and sold. Because I'm not a lobbyist, I'm not registered. But it's the truth.
I have only been approached
Lou,
by anybody for a bribe in one state, and that state was Michigan, not New Jersey.
But
How about that?
But campaign contributions are in effect.
I haven't made one campaign contribution.
But you can't say that. It's legal. I mean, you can say it, but the fact is, unless you want to abolish it completely, which is fine, I'd be for that. There's no reason why you should say to cannabis, oh, you can't do it. But if you're making, doing cigarettes or alcohol or food or guns or whatever, you can make contributions. You can't make cannabis companies second-class citizens in that regard.
I'm not saying. I just like to call it what it is.
Well,
it is what it is. But it's okay. I mean, people. It's the system we live in. But along those lines, you can work with the politicians and then go to retail, and the retail needs to go to somebody who has an existing cultivation processing center.
I don't know what your numbers are, and I don't need to know, but the cultivation numbers are about $400 a square. Big money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, just think about it. 10,000 square foot would be $4.5 million. If you have 100,000 square feet, and some licenses go to 150,000, it's like $45 million. So we're doing a wrap up. Can I tell one funny story? Do I have time?
Yeah. You can hold your funny story, but tell us how to get in touch with you. I would not step foot in New Jersey if I was doing business there without calling you.
I'm on LinkedIn, Lou Magazoo, Magazzu, or the Wiener Law Group. Now, I am now 8-2. 8-2. Okay, I've only lost 2.
That's good.
One of them we didn't deserve to lose, and shame on that town. The other one, this is the story I wanted to tell. A client came to me after signing the agreement of sale on a property, and after being bound to go into the property, and I said, "Dude, you're in an agricultural and residential zone. Look at that word residential.
Yeah.
You got houses all around you." No, the zoning officer guaranteed me it was going to happen. Okay. The realtor guaranteed me it was going to happen.
Of course they did.
All right. Of course they did. So I go before the hearing, 150 people, including at the front row, 6 nuns, because it was right next to a nunnery. My moral of the story, never do a cultivation facility next to a nunnery. That's my free legal advice.
No, that's good. And Lou, I urge people to, I've done business with you.
Thank you.
And I know you're very reliable and you're very well connected in New Jersey. And even though I disapprove of this existence of the world we live in, I'm also a pragmatic man, and I would encourage anyone to reach out to you.
Thank you very much.
So yourself, closing thoughts?
New Jersey is going to be the best state to operate in over the next 2 years, guaranteed. It's going to make the most money. It's going to be my biggest market for sure, out of Michigan and Colorado. I have no doubt about that. It's one of the wealthiest states in the country. If you can get to New Jersey, you should, but you probably can't. I'm 3 for 3, Colorado, Michigan, New Jersey. Always willing to talk to people.
How do people get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me through LinkedIn at Jake Berry. They can also reach out to my team at info@loudlabs.co.
Love the name.
And yeah, that's my company. Please reach out. Please follow us on social media, Pyramid Pens, Zubies, Doinks, all my brands. They're going to be all over New Jersey in the new year.
Well, you guys, it's been a fantastic conversation. We've learned a lot about New Jersey and you guys, and we encourage everybody to reach out to you.
Beautiful.
And this has been another episode. We could about get beat down by a stick over there. What is that? She's got a bat. This has been another episode of MITA Unshackled. We are through New Jersey. We are through Alabama, New York, Colorado. We're moving right down the line. We'll be back with another episode after this.